So the Indiana Fever and Nalyssa Smith is hilarious. The situation is absolutely hilarious, and it's been something that has just been a one woman tirade against not even an organization, just against a coach from day one. Whether it be herself, her brother, her mom, everything between Nalyssa Smith and the Fever has been against Christie's sides. There's no this season anyway, there's been no good relationship between them. And we've known that from the start. If you guys were here when Nalyssa Smith, she was liking, before when you could see she was liking anti-Christie sides tweets. So it's not like Nalyssa Smith was making any secret. But Nalyssa Smith, as soon as they got knocked out of playoffs, took Indiana Fever out of her bio. The second, and I mean this, the second Christie sides got fired, Nalyssa Smith, Indiana Fever. I'm not joking. The second. She didn't even make it 5 minutes. The second it was announced, Indiana Fever goes back into the bio. And then her brother starts liking tweets. I think obviously Stephanie White, can tap into and bring out a player's potential. Liz has a lot of it, as we know, but she just wasn't put in the right position to succeed. Under Stephanie White, and Nalyssa is going to be a front runner for MIP. He retweeted. By the looks of things, obviously, her brother is her biggest fan. Obviously, with the way things are looking, maybe they have not discussed getting rid of her. Maybe the reality is that Stephanie White thinks that they can get something out of Nalyssa Smith. The positives of keeping Nalyssa Smith, I will say, are one, if she has a decent season, she becomes good trade bait next year, because she's a restricted free agent. You got her for a year, and you could trade her mid-year. Two, if you you can guarantee you keep your first round pick, which Sivka or Citron, one of those two, is more than likely going to be on the board, who is the perfect player to have in that team. Or if Janiyah Barker is there, who could be another pretty good player. So that's the benefits of Nalyssa Smith being there. I do not think there's a chance Nalyssa Smith is not protected. Because the thing is for me, I think they're going to want to completely they're going to protect the starting five. And then they're going to protect Grace Berger. That's my predictions. Why wouldn't they protect Temi Fagbenle? The Golden State Valkyries are not going to take Temi Fagbenle. Temi Fagbenle is an aging player who is a English and is going to help them on the defensive end. It isn't that flashy. I think they're going to bank on the Valkyries taking Katie Lou Samuelson or Damir Stantas. I think they're going to have to bank on that because they're not going to take Saxon. And with that being said, with that lineup, they're still pretty good. And even if they do want to trade Nalyssa Smith, they have, if they protect her, they're able to trade her. If they have her unprotected, she's going to Golden State. She is going to Golden State. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with her specifically, because the potential is there for Nalyssa Smith. I watched back a couple of full games from the 2023 season, and you can tell that there are flashes of what Nalyssa Smith does well. I watched games this season. I thought she was really, really good. The last game against Chicago, the fourth one, where they blitzed Chicago, and Nalyssa Smith was unbelievable in that game. She was absolutely fantastic. So for me, I'm just she was absolutely fantastic in that game. She showed glimpses of it. So it's maybe you just don't want to let her walk unless you can get a statue. Maybe they just don't even want a statue. Maybe they're you know what? We're good running it back. And in fairness, I think in Nalyssa Smith, if it all comes together, she averaged 15 and 10 last year, which are good numbers. She was almost an all-star. But yeah, it is just very clear though by obviously throughout the year, the stuff her brother's been tweeting and the stuff her brother has liked, and then the fact that she has suddenly put Indiana Fever back in her bio. And my favorite thing about her offseason is the fact that you guys may not be able to see it on the video, but she got photoshopped into her Chinese team's picture. She literally got photoshopped into the pictures, which is hilarious. But we've seen somebody who, the second they got knocked out of the playoffs, was like, well, I'm done. I'm gone. Let's take it out of all the bios. Suddenly, Indiana is back in the bio for Nalyssa Smith. Like, you know that she's, not that she's 100% she won't be happy to leave Indiana. I'd say she's thinking, though, okay, the reason I'm gone is gone. Like, the real reason I'm 100% gone is Christy Sides. However, if Christy Sides is gone and Lynn Dunn's gone and the whole organization's changed, maybe something will change. And I do think Nalyssa Smith can probably fit into that system. She just got to be a cutter rather than a spacer. Like, I never understood that with, I understand giving space to for Caitlin Clark to work out of, but I'm like, she's allowed cut. Like, Nalyssa Smith should be cutting to try free up the defense, because for some reason in the WNBA, if a player can't really, if a player like doesn't have a mid-range shot, they don't just not guard them. So like Nalyssa Smith's cuts we picked up way too high, and I just think they'll be bad at guarding that. But yeah, that's just the Nalyssa Smith situation. The whole thing is messy. The whole thing, everything with Nalyssa Smith is messy. And it's probably the main reason why I'm like, probably don't want Nalyssa Smith on the Fever next year. Nothing really to do with her game, partially to do with her game. But she is incredibly messy. Her girlfriend is literally Dejanay Carrington. And that doesn't help things. Does not help things when Dejanay is trying to start stuff with the Fever at every given opportunity. And you better believe she's probably going to do that through Unrivaled. Now it's Stephanie White, her coach, who like gave her the reins and she won Most Improved Player playing on there, now coaching the enemy. Yeah, that's a rough one. And also, I think it pretty much guarantees Stephanie White is the coach, because there's no way Rodney Smith would be retweeting and liking this if he had no idea who the coach was going to be. If it could have been anyone, like if it could have been Kurt Miller, there's no way he would be liking those tweets. But yeah. What would you guys do with Nalyssa Smith? Would you keep her? Would you get rid of her? For me, I'm keeping unless Satu is available. If you can find a way to get Satu, give up Satu 2026 first and a 2027 swap. I don't give up that 8 pick with Nalyssa Smith, even if it's for Satu. I just think that the fact Sivka, Barker, or Citron, one of those three is on the board, and I think that they're going to be a massive, massive help for this team. So I wouldn't give up that 8 pick, even if it is for Satu. But because, again, Satu can leave after a year. But anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.